So a sales representative swung by to pick me up from home on Sunday afternoon, about 3 o'clock. Weather was spot on, but the roads were pretty busy. To kick things off, she drove the car out of the car park herself. The car can't do that bit on its own yet. And then we set off for the test drive. We headed over to a different part of town and then made our way to their showroom. After our first stop, we swapped seats. I was in the driver's seat now, but I didn't touch the wheel or any of the pedals. I had my phone in my hands the whole time, filming what was going on. Here you can see it automatically pick the right lane, following the route on the sat-nav. The first amazing thing which I did not catch on video was when the car behind traffic switched to an empty lane. Just as we accelerated, a traffic light ahead turned red. The car stopped perfectly in front of the white line of the light. This crowded junction was no problem. Then, we had a left turn. The light turned red, but we cleared the junction with oncoming right-turning traffic. It handled it nicely, finding the only available lane. With the big truck parking on the road, finding the lane to pick up speed was a bit too slow, the gap was too big, and somebody just drove into our lane. We of course gave way and followed the road with all the parked cars. The next turn was a right. The light was red, but there wasn't a red arrow, so turning right was allowed. The car chose the right-hand lane because it was clear, then shot up past 40 kilometers per hour before easing back. I was genuinely impressed with how it threaded through that pretty narrow lane and slipped over to the correct lane before the lights. Driving over the zebra crossing and onto the next junction, it's also interesting seeing how precisely the surrounding traffic is drawn on the driver's display. Next up was a big junction without any lane markings. This is hard for a self-driving car, and the best course of action is to follow the flow of traffic and the map. Okay, we are crossing the intersection, but now changing lane without indication at the end of it. Maybe not strictly by the book, but it was smooth as anything. Let's watch a bit more and see how it handles the little tricycle, easing off slightly and giving it space. It might also be anticipating the next red light, either from the camera view or the map data, so there's no rush to push through. Really nice that all this time so far the car never bothered me. Impressive how the car sees everything, even motorbikes squeezing past didn't bother the car either. It truly feels like this car is on a mission. We stay in the right lane to set up a right turn at the next junction, exactly as the sat-nav is guiding us. The light went green, so the car went off, but as we crossed the stop line into the junction, it suddenly stopped. I asked the sales rep, "What's going on? Why've we stopped?" She said the light had gone red. I pushed back. "But we're already in the junction. Stopping here's risky, and back home we're meant to clear the intersection." She just shrugged and said, "That's how it is here." Well, that's not how we do it where I'm from. Once you're in, you carry on and clear the intersection, right? To enhance the test a little, we changed the sat-nav to take us on a different route. The car just picked it up and carried on, and honestly it started to feel a bit sci-fi, like you only bother with the destination and let the car do the rest. Bit like that movie Passengers, the officer on deck. Well, the navigation is still on the job, but that's all that counts, and beyond that, you're just along for the ride. Here's another interesting bit. The sat-nav said, left, then right. We waited for the green, then it nipped out, squeezing in front of oncoming traffic, and cutting across the right turners. Bit cheeky. Wow. At least it did hold back for the cyclist on the zebra. As we are watching the car driving us through Nanshan district in Shenzhen, the sales representative is telling us that driving this car in this mode meant that the driver needs some kind of a special license. Later this year, when we get the car, we will see what she means by special. You cannot see here on the left, the traffic waiting for the green light. We were turning right, so that light didn't apply to us. But diving into side traffic like that was, let's say, lively. On the display you can actually see how it edged into another car's lane. We turned right with bikes crossing on the zebra. It got a touch close to the last one. Not exactly patient, but, I suppose, efficient. Is this what the future of robot driving looks like? Heading back to the showroom, our last stop, the sales representative told me I'd need to take over, because the car can't tell whether it should go to the upper or lower deck of the car park. I said I wanted to see what it would do, but I was ready to step in. You can see it come to a halt, and that's the first moment I put my hands back on the wheel. We're getting our own car later this year. The software they deliver it with will be even slightly better. Hopefully I'll grab more clips and get to know this system, or shall I say robot, a bit better.